Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and today I decided to check out some farming spots in Classic WoW. Because now that my druid is level 60, there are some things I want to invest in, and I also want to have a decent amount of gold in the bank when Burning Crusade launches. Because of that, I decided it would be fun to check out a couple of farming spots that are pretty well known in Classic WoW and just see how much money you can potentially make from farming there. So here's how I'll do it. I will spend 1 hour at each farming spot, and after the time is up, I will add up everything I farmed and let you guys know how much I have made in total and also the pros and cons of each farming spot. Before I start, I would just like to remind you that your mileage at these spots may vary, as there are a ton of factors that come into play when it comes to making money by farming a specific area. Factors like how many people are there farming as well, whether there's ganking going on, how fast your character can kill mobs, what time of the day you farm, as the evening is usually more busy, how much the items sell for on your server, and a bunch of other factors. Also, the areas I'm going to farm in are of course just a couple of the many possible farming areas in Classic WoW, and maybe I'll cover more in a future video. For now though, let's see just how much money I can make. And we're starting off at the Twilight mobs in Silithus. The main reason you want to farm these are the encrypted Twilight texts and the green armor pieces for abyssal crests, which you need for various reputation items and epics. When I was there, things went quite smooth on my hunter, and after 1 hour of farming, this is what I managed to gather. First up, I made 6 gold, 35 silver and 85 copper from just looting money off of mobs. From vendor trash, I made 3 gold, 96 silver and 98 copper. And then the big one, which was an even 40 encrypted Twilight texts that I managed to gather, which on my server are worth an average of 90 gold. I also managed to get 1 full 3 set of green Twilight gear, which gave me 1 abyssal crest worth 8 gold. Then 1 scroll of stamina and a scroll of protection, both worth 1 gold and 10 silver. Then 71 rune cloth worth 8 gold, 87 silver and 50 copper, 1 stack of major healing potions worth 50 silver, and a lucky drop which was the 3 of warlords worth 12 gold. The total profit of farming these mobs for 1 hour is 139 gold, 29 silver and 34 copper. Definitely not bad for just an hour of farming in the world, and even if you would take out the lucky drop of the 3 of warlords, I would have still made 127 gold. The pros of this farming spot is that there are a lot of mobs available, and also different farming areas throughout Silithus, making sure that there's little fighting over mobs going on. The drop rate on the encrypted Twilight texts also aren't too bad, making it a fairly reliable farm too. Also, the fact that you get multiple useful items out of this is great too, as you don't have to put all your eggs in one basket. And last but not least, the fact that all these mobs are non-elite, and with some decent gear, they're pretty fast and easy to kill. Apart from of course the mobs you have to summon for the abyssal crests. The cons are the fact that Silithus is kind of a hotbed for ganking at some times, so you always have to watch your back. And if you want to get abyssal crests, you might have to get 1 more player to help you kill the elite mobs. Next up is the Earth Elemental farming spot at Dalaran, mainly for elemental earth, which is used for crafting potions like the greater nature protection potions. Also, the heavy stones that drop here are used to make sharpening stones to boost melee damage. Now I know what you're thinking, why choose this spot over the spots in Badlands or at the Highlands? Well, simply because based on my own experience, those were always too contested, and I found this spot to be much less crowded by people and found it to be a much better farming spot in general. So after 1 hour of farming here, I got the following: 11 silver and 59 copper from money looted off of mobs, which is obvious since I killed almost nothing but elementals. 4 gold, 83 silver and 35 copper worth of vendor trash, and then the big one, 10 elemental earths, which were on average 4 gold a pop, so that's 40 gold in total. I also gathered 65 heavy stones, which I could sell for 39 gold in the auction house. Besides that, I also found 2 jades, which I sold for 2 gold 20 silver, 1 lesser moonstone, which was worth 80 silver, and then finally 30 deep rock salt, worth 1 gold 20 silver. So in total we have made 88 gold, 14 silver and 94 copper farming this spot for 1 hour. The pros for the spot are that this is usually a pretty remote area with very little competition, and obviously way less competition than in let's say Badlands or at the Highlands. Also the mobs here are in their mid 30s, so they die super quickly and it's easy for anyone to farm regardless of your gear. The cons, however, is that besides the elemental earth and heavy stone, the mobs barely drop anything else of worth, and there is a bit of an idle time in between respawns when you're just waiting around, and admittedly the elemental earth has a pretty low drop rate. All in all, it's still a pretty decent farming spot, but so far the Twilight mobs in Silithus have given us the highest gold per hour rate. Then we move on to farming Devilsaurs in Un'Goro Crater. You kill these mobs and skin them for Devilsaur leather, which is used for that pretty sweet 2 set for hunters and rogues. And while this in the beginning of Classic WoW was almost impossible to farm, in the late phase of Classic it's much more viable and Devilsaur leather is still worth a good amount of money. I really advise you to look up a map of the exact route of these Devilsaurs, as there are only a very small amount of them roaming in Un'Goro Crater. So after an hour I managed to kill 12 Devilsaurs, which in return gave me 47 silver and 28 copper worth of vendor trash and 12 Devilsaur leather, which was worth a total of 84 gold. So our total profit for farming Devilsaurs in 1 hour was 84 gold, 47 silver and 28 copper. The pros of this farming spot is that the value per item is pretty high. It's not as crazy anymore as it used to be in the early days of Classic WoW, and every Devilsaur you kill has a guaranteed Devilsaur leather drop, so no luck with drop chances or anything like that. The cons, however, are that you spend a lot of time roaming Un'Goro Crater, looking for those mobs, as there are only a small amount of them, which also means you gotta be lucky and run into them. I'd also say that it's almost a necessity to have an epic mount, since you're spending a lot of time running around in the zone to try and find them. Which is why in this case I switched over to my druid, since that character does have an epic mount. Another con is of course the fact that you need skinning as your profession. And another problem with skinning is of course that when you kill the mob, there is a chance that someone might swoop in and steal your Devilsaur leather. And last but not least, the mobs do hit pretty hard, so if you have a hard time soloing these, you might want to get some better gear first or team up with someone else. All in all though, it was a solid hour of farming with finding 12 of them, and an average of 84.5 gold is not too shabby, but the Earth Elemental farming spot and the Twilight mobs were both more lucrative in this test. Then we go to another classic spot, the Toxic Horrors in Felwood. These are farmed for essences of water, which are used for many items like enchants, armor pieces, weapons and whatnot, so they're in high demand. Also, the elemental waters that drop are also worth a pretty penny. Unfortunately for me though, this was by far the worst farming session yet. First off, there were more people there, so there was a lot more looking for respawns. And I think I must have killed at least 100 of those elementals, yet I didn't manage to get a single essence of water. What I did get was the following: 6 gold, 56 silver and 9 copper worth of vendor trash, 2 elemental water worth 14 gold, 25 core of elements worth 1 gold 50 silver, and get this, hurricane. Yes, while farming these I didn't manage to get any essences of water, but what I did manage to get was a BOE World Epic. I managed to sell this sweet little item for a nice 45 gold in the auction house, making a total of 67 gold, 6 silver and 9 copper. Of course the bow was a total fluke, so realistically I made only 22 gold in 1 hour of farming. I don't know if I was just really unlucky, but it turned out to be a pretty terrible hour of farming. Anyway, let's go over the pros and cons. The pros are the fact that the mobs here are quite easy to kill, being only in their mid-50s, and the essences of water do have a high value, with an average of 13 gold on my server. The cons, however, are the high competition, with several other players looking to kill these, the high chance of getting ganked, as this is a very contested area, the very low drop rate, which I got to experience firsthand, and I was curious to see what the estimated drop rate was on Wowhead. Turns out it's 6%. No idea if that's correct, but that's still a pretty appalling drop rate if you ask me. And of course the fact that a lot of time I was just waiting around for these mobs to respawn. So all in all, I would definitely not recommend this spot based on the hour that I was there. And then one more remains, the Satyrs in Felwood. There's 2 reasons to farm these mobs. First of all, they drop Felcloth, which is a region used in tailoring recipes. The second one being demonic runes. Now while you can't sell these as they're BOP, they are quite handy in raids as they are more or less a mana potion at the cost of some health. So after farming these for an hour, I managed to get the following: 5 gold, 75 silver and 22 copper that I looted from the mobs, 2 gold, 56 silver and 39 copper from vendor trash, 3 fell cloth worth 7.5 gold, 45 rune cloth worth 5 gold, 62 silver and 50 copper, 3 demonic runes, which most people would generally keep, but in this case I'll take the vendor value for a little extra of 18 silver, and 2 superior mana potions for 2 gold, 60 silver, making it a total of 24 gold, 22 silver and 11 copper. Unfortunately, the price of fell cloth has plummeted, at least on the server that I am on, so the amount of money we could make farming this item has decreased quite a lot, so it's almost not worth doing anymore. Still though, just to stick to the format, let's look at the pros and cons. The pros are the fact that the mobs are very easy to kill, with them being only in their low 50s, and there are multiple farming locations within Felwood and Ashara. The cons are the very low drop rate. I mean, I killed a ton of these and only got 3 fell cloth in 1 hour. The high competition, as there were plenty of other people farming those as well. The waiting around for respawn, and of course the fact that the fell cloth right now is worth very little. So it seems like we have a clear winner. The Twilight mobs in Silithus gave me the most gold per hour with an impressive average of about 139 gold. Followed by the Earth Elementals at Dalaran with about 88 gold per hour, then the Devilsaur farm with give or take 84.5 gold per hour, and then at the bottom the Toxic Horrors in Felwood with 67 gold per hour because of that lucky BOE drop, and the Satyr farm also in Felwood with only about 24 gold per hour. Also, just as a little extra, with all those combined, I made a grand total of 403 gold, 19 silver and 79 copper. And well, there you go guys, 5 farming spots tested in Classic WoW. I'd like to remind you that besides these, there are tons of other farming spots where you can farm money and items in Classic WoW. And like I said, I might cover more of them in a future video. For now though, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.